So we call this hearing to order. Today, the committee is going to consider S-517, the Consumer and Fuel Retailer Choice Act, introduced by Senator Fisher. This bill would amend Section 211 of the Clean Air Act, which governs the regulation of fuels. Specifically, the bill would exempt fuels containing gasoline and more than 10% ethanol, fuels like E15, E20, and E30, from certain Clean Air Act requirements during the summer ozone season. The Clean Air Act sets forth standards for fuel volatility to control emissions of volatile organic compounds that evaporate from gasoline. Volatile organic compounds, or VOC, and nitrogen oxide, or NOx, react in the presence of sunlight to create ground-level ozone, or smog. The Clean Air Act sets forth different standards for fuel volatility for different areas of the country. In general, the Clean Air Act sets forth more stringent fuel volatility requirements in areas that are not in attainment with the National Ambient Air Quality Standards for ozone, and then less stringent fuel volatility requirements for areas that are in attainment for those standards. So the principal question at today's hearings will be, what does the bill mean for air quality and for communities trying to comply with the Clean Air Act ozone standards? And another important question at today's hearing will be, will this bill result in more corn ethanol production? And if so, what are the impacts of additional corn ethanol production? According to one of our witnesses, corn ethanol has accounted for about 87% of the biofuels used to meet the renewable fuel standard over the last 10 years. Yesterday, the Advanced Biofuels Association wrote that it has deep concerns that the legislation will be detrimental to the future of advanced biofuels in the United States. But I think we also need to ask, what does the bill mean for consumers? In addition to exempting fuels like E15, E20, and E30 from certain Clean Air Act requirements, this bill would codify in statute the EPA's 2010 and 2011 decisions to approve E15 for use in model year 2001 and newer vehicles. Now, in Wyoming, folks want fuel with less, not more ethanol. They have seen what ethanol does to small engines and boat engines. They worry what fuel with more ethanol will do to their car engines and who will be stuck paying the bill. Consumers, manufacturers, and others are deeply skeptical about EPA's decision to approve E15 for use in the 2001 and newer vehicles. Congress, I believe, should not codify it. No one should be surprised that I don't support S-517, but S-517 deserves a full and fair hearing before this committee. I also can't end my remarks without mentioning another part of Section 211 of the Clean Air Act, specifically the renewable fuel standard. Now, I believe the renewable fuel standard is broken and EPA is not in a position to fix it. The program is causing distortions in the marketplace and damage to the environment. I believe it needs to be fixed. With that, I will now return to the ranking member of the committee for his remarks.